This is the Guide 3 Part 1 movie, the brand new one for CS4. I'm going to get right into it, and I would like you people to open up the PDF file, as you can see I have, for the text and lettering guide. As different from last year, I am using the same font for the word Illustrator, which is ITC Avant-Garde Demi at 100 points, and I'm going to be using for the word text assignment ATC Tradewinds Ultra at 72 points, not Bordeaux as I used to do. But I'm going to click to the Illustrator file. Please follow along with the PDF file open if you're at home, or and as you're doing it. Okay. And there are some differences that I'll do in the movie as opposed to the PDF file, but pretty much it's the same. As you can see on screen, I have typed above the pasteboard the word text assignment, and I have made another separate text box. And I did not even make a text box actually. And please, in Illustrator, do not click a text box like I am doing on the screen. As you can see, that is not the way to type something. What you want to do is just take and click your text tool and then type whatever you're going to type, all right? And then that actually, with the direct selection tool, which is the A key, can be shifted and moved around, and you can see there really isn't a text box assigned to it. And that's how I'm going to begin. So according to the assignment guide, we are going to grab the word Illustrator. To leave the original up on the pasteboard is what I want you to do. I want you to hold Command Option or Control Alt, and I want you to drag down a brand new word Illustrator. We are going to take this word Illustrator, and what the assignment guide says to do right here is to leave it black and then make a black box cutting the word in half. And you can see I've put a blue box back here because we're going to use the exclude command in Pathfinder. And I want to make sure that you have excluded the area which is what I'm going to call the horizon below the word Illustrator. So let's go back to here and leave the word Illustrator right there. We're going to turn it into outlines. Look in the layer palette how the word Illustrator, I'll turn it off and on and you can see it right there. The word Illustrator is a font, but as soon as I hit Command Shift O, oops, I guess I better select it. Command Shift O, it actually turns into a group that's in the layer palette with as many characters as there are and the compound paths. And by now in the setup movie, I should have discussed with you what a compound path is. I would like to do that in class, but we'll be getting into the word to what a compound path is. It's actually a subtract shape within an add shape, and I just want to leave that one alone right now. I'm going to click the M key, and you all should know by now what the M key is, and I'm going to dissect or start from the bottom and raise myself up to the halfway mark, and you can see that I've done that. I'm going to take the V key and select both the group and the rectangle that I have, and I'm going to go over to the Pathfinder command that you can see right over here. In fact, I'll bring it right on screen below here, and this one that I have selected is the exclude option. And if you continue to read that long line, it says you have to hold the Option key if you're going to expand the compound shape. Okay, so you must hold the Option key when you click exclude, or you won't get all of the capabilities of the exclude from Pathfinder. So please hold the Option key or the Alt key if you're on a PC, evil PC, and click, and you can see that we've actually now gotten rid of the actual, it didn't just cut it and turn it white, it actually excluded it, which hence the name of the command. I'm going to hit the M key again, and I'm going to move the expand thing back and put it right over there, and I'm going to make another little teeny weeny box like this, and I'm going to color it any color that I want. Whoops, that's the stroke. I'm going to take this and make the fill into the front and color it a wonderful green. You know I hate green, but that's okay. And I'm going to hold and send that one to the back. If I hit Command Shift left bracket, it actually sends it to the back. I could have gone up to Object Arrange, Send to the back, which is Command Shift left bracket. So I want you to leave that one alone. Let's go get the second word Illustrator from the top, and if you remember, I want you to leave the original here. I'm going to drag a copy holding Command and Option to right here. Now I'm going to do this one quickly, but I'm going to go to the PDF file and I'm going to show you what we're going to end up with. We are going to end up with an actual we are going to end up with, now how do I get that? Let me go to my magnifying glass. We are going to end up with a chrome looking letter that has a 2-point stroke on the outside. I'll get that a little bigger on screen. A 2-point stroke on the outside in black, and then it's going to be an offset copy of that first word to get the white stroke on the inside. Now when we do get the white stroke on the inside, I'm going to warn you right now before you see it, it's going to have a fill which is unneeded. It's unneeded because we already have the fill for the original, and you're going to make it look like chrome. So after that we're going to add, I'm going to show you a little bit about groups and subgroups because that's what this is all about actually, and then you're going to add a shadow. And if you, when I get finished, it should take me 5 clicks, and I'll show you the 5 clicks. If I have time, I will actually make the mistake of doing it wrong by ungrouping everything, and I'll show you quickly how to group everything back and make it right. If you can't get it right, just follow this within the movie. So let's go back and let's take this word right here and let's go Command-Shift-0 and turn it into outline paths. Let me demagnify the screen to get the whole word on screen just like that. Let me click any gradient possible, and you can see when you click a gradient, I'm going to hit the G key. The first time that, the G key is for gradient, the first time you make a gradient amongst a group of compound paths, which now this is, you can see that Illustrator thinks you want the gradient to go into every single character. Well, I'm going to hold and bring over the gradient palette because I want you to see that the left hand side is white and the right hand side is black. When you actually have this gradient tool, it's just a directional tool, and you hold the shift key from the top down, you can see that the left hand side is going to be the one that's on top, and the right hand side, or the black, is going to be on the bottom because that was the direction I dragged in. But now I'm going to bring the white and the black right to the center, and I'm going to pick up any blue that I want over here in the swatches palette and drop it right there so the chrome actually gets dropped on top. And let's grab a warm value for the bottom right here. Now you can see how horribly ugly the black is, and I'm going to get close to one of these and I'm going to leave it selected. You can see how horribly ugly the transition is between this warm value and the black. That's because if I click the black icon right here in the gradient palette and I bring the color menu over here, the color palette, you can see that the black is colorless. It's just nothing but black and white. I am going to add the same hues that are in the warmth of the bottom by picking up the magenta a teeny bit and picking up the yellow. And you can see how I've made that color transition so much better. Now, just so happens that my chrome went up a little bit too high. So what I want to do is to grab the gradient tool again, and instead of dragging all the way from the top, I'm going to drag and drop that down just a little bit, even more. Look at how I'm dropping it down and getting it to be a little bit more fast, if that's how you want to say it. I'm now going to add a 2-point stroke to the outside. Over here you can see to the right I'm going to a 2-point stroke. I'm going to click it black, and you can see that is the first phase. Now, this is very important. Over here in the layer palette, if you have 11 characters over here, I want you to see how you should have 11 layers or sub-layers within the group, and I'll turn off and on the group so you can see it turns off and on. I want to show you what subgrouping is, and I'm going to go to the direct selection and pull out the little pull-off tab here, and I'm going to go down here and show you that the direct select tool with the option key turns into the group select tool, which is the one on the right. I'm now going to get close to a letter that has 2 characters in it, or 2 shapes. What is a compound path? And I'll show you what that is right now. If I take the direct select A key and hold the option key down, I can click on the inside shape alone. Now I'm going to let go of the option key so it turns back into the direct selection tool, pick up an anchor point, and show you that that inside shape, which looks like it's nothing, is really just another filled shape, except what Illustrator did was Illustrator made it into a subtract shape. Very, very simple. And I'm going to Command Z that back so it goes back in. But here's the point I'm going to make to you. It's going to take me 3 clicks of the group tool. I'll click it. I'll click away and I'll click back on this inside shape. Watch how it takes me 3 clicks to get to the parent group. 1 on the first shape. Now I'll click again on that same shape and get the rest of the character A. It's not really a character A, it's just a shape that looks like an A. If I click a third time, I get the rest of the word illustrator. Now our goal is to get 5 clicks once we get the white lines in there and the shadow. And that's the only way you can turn it in. Now I'm going to go back on this whole thing and I'm going to select everything by clicking the radial button for the group over here in the layer palette. It's better than marking the screen. With that selected, the assignment guide tells you to go to Path and offset the path by negative 0.0259 inches. Remember to turn your Illustrator preferences on inches, not points or picas or anything else. And I'm going to say OK. Now watch what happens over to here. Let me cancel that for a second because I want you to see what's going to happen, and I'm going to bring the layer palette down so you can see that instead of 11 shapes there's going to be 22 shapes. So let me go back to Path and offset the path by negative 0.0259, leave everything alone and click OK. Now look at over here how there became 22 shapes. There's a big R and a little r, a big O and a little o, a big T, and so on and so on. But you can see how Illustrator, and this is where CS3 made a mistake, Illustrator CS3 left everything selected. Here it correctly left only the ones that were offset selected. Now I'm going to actually hit Command G. The assignment guide says first, right after you go to offset the path, hit Command G. Now that groups everything together that we want to turn into a no fill, and I'm going to move it away from itself just so you can see I have 2 fills where I only need 1. Now I want the black stroke on the littler one to turn white, and I want the fill to be gone. That's simple. So let me hit Command Z back. Let's take the fill to nothing and the stroke to white. Let me move this back up. And the stroke to white at 1 point. Now if I get close to this, you can see I've got exactly what I want. I'll click away from it and you can see that I have now, or you will see that I now have in the parent group over here, instead of 3 clicks, I'm going to have 4 clicks. Now let me prove it to you. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to grab the group tool and I'm going to click on the white inside letter. Watch. Now a second click will get me the inside of just that character's A white letter. Now another click will get me all of the white strokes, and a fourth click will get me everything else that the group belongs to. At this point you should have 4 clicks. Now if you start inside a character that only has 1 shape, like a letter R, it's only going to take you 3 clicks. There's 1, 2, 3. See? Now let's go back up to the word Illustrator, and this is where students make a mistake. Let me hold Command Option and grab another word. Let's put it below and to the right, but don't leave it as a font. I'll even shift it over a little bit. Don't leave it as a font. Go Command Shift O, and now what we have to do is group all of that together. So I'm going to grab, look at over here in the layer palette. The circle is selected for the new group. I am going to hold the Shift key and click on the circle up here for the parent group. I'm now going to hit Command G to group, and what happens is I now should have 5 clicks to get me from the inside of the A or the O out to the shadow. Now let's see if that works. Notice I have the group tool selected over here, or I can go to the direct select and hold the Option key, which I don't care what you do. So let's now click the inside of the letter A. Let's click again to get the rest of the white of the A. Click a third time to get the rest of the white of everything else. Let's click a 4th time to get all the colored stuff, and a 5th time to get the shadow. I'm going to hit Command S to save this file. And you have this file. If you go on your on the server, it'll be there. It's called Movie File Guide 3 Part 1. And you'll see it all finished by that time. Okay, now I'm going to scoochie this whole thing up by hitting the E key, which is the transform tool. That's so neat because I can just move this thing all the way up like this. And I want you to see something. This group I want to be above that group. I think it would be a cooler thing. So I'm going to pick up this group in the layer palette and I'm going to move it up above everything. Whoops. I don't want it to go in, I want it to go above. There. Now, I actually let it go a little too early. And now you have this one above that one. So continue on with the next movie, and remember, I used a new font for the word text assignment. When you actually see the movies, I don't know if I will have the movies done with the new word trade winds for text assignment. Just because I'm using Bordeaux shouldn't throw you off too much, okay? It's the same theory, just a different font. So I'll just make that amendment statement. If I have gotten to it by that time, fine, then don't worry about it. And good luck, and go on to the next movie. Thank you.